Back in the day, I had an Xbox 360, and one of the very few Xbox Live arcade games that I picked up. I looked at them all the time, but at that point, I didn't have enough money to really spend on gaming as much as I wanted to, so I had to be really frugal about what I bought. And one of the only games that I picked up on Xbox Live Arcade, which was this cool platform that allowed anybody to make a game for Xbox, was Splosion Man. Splosion Man was this weird game where scientists accidentally created personified energy, and you have to escape from the scientist because they're trying to trap you. And in order to escape from the scientist, you have an ability to explode all the time, and that's how you can jump. Well, fast forward to, I think it was 2009, and they made a sequel because it was actually a pretty successful game. They made a sequel to Splosion Man. They called it Ms. Splosion Man. And of course, you can't tell who's who without changing her to be pink in color and give her a bow. And that is how we know that it's Ms. Splosion Man and not just regular Splosion Man. This picks up right after the previous one left off. Mr. Splosion Man has been captured by the scientists. He was unsuccessful in his escape. And Ms. Splosion Man is accidentally created in their celebration. There's a cutscene at the beginning of the game that tells you all this stuff at the very beginning. So I'm not really spoiling anything. This game just came to the Switch, and the developer sent me a review copy. And I just want to talk about my first impressions with Ms. Splosion Man. The first thing that I want to say is that the animation is fantastic. Ms. Splosion Man runs across the screen, skipping like she's a little kid, like she's a child. And I love it. I think that it's fantastic the way that she does that. The next thing that I love about what they've done here is the writing and the voicing is perfect. I mean, well, let me say this. The woman's voice for Ms. Splosion Man is very grating and irritating, but I think that is on purpose. She's supposed to be annoying. Her whole personality is kind of annoying, and that's kind of charming in a way. She's constantly skipping along and doing pop culture references. Like there's a reference to the Predator in the game. There's constantly she's dropping song lyrics to 1990s pop songs. Like she'll say like songs like Spice Girls songs. She'll quote Spice Girls songs as she's running along, and you know, the first time that you hear it, you're like, did she just say that? And you're not quite sure. But then the second or third time, you're like, yep, that's totally what she said. And so even though her voice is annoying, you definitely want to listen to it because there's a lot of jokes in there. And it's not just her quipping off these one-liners. She also says things about them that makes me kind of laugh. So I really like the writing and the voicing. I think that they did a very good job with that. Love those pop culture references. Let me talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is the same. I think it's exactly the same as Mr. Splosion Man. So we're basically just getting new levels. The way that the game plays is you explode in order to jump. And every time you explode, you do damage to everything around you, be it glass walls or scientists, whatever it happens to be. You blow that stuff up every time you jump, because in order to jump, you have to explode. Now, when you have enough energy to explode 3 times before you need to recharge. And the way that you recharge is you have to touch a surface like a wall or a floor, hang from a zip line, or I think that's it that I can think of. Those are the ways that you get more explosions back. And so the platforming is built in a way where you need to exploit that stuff. You know, maybe you have to bounce 3 times off walls or something, or you have to do 3 explosions in order to get to a bomb, or well, probably 2 explosions in order to get to a bomb, and then do your 3rd explosion on that bomb to send you flying. There's a lot of that kind of thing in the game, And the gameplay is really good. The controls are very, very good. I've been playing using the Joy-Cons. I tried with both the Pro Controller and the Joy-Cons. I personally settled on using the Joy-Cons because of a couple of reasons. The game isn't designed for D-pads, but you can use the D-pad with it. I feel like the game is definitely designed for a thumbstick, but both the thumbstick and the D-pad on the Joy-Cons, in my opinion, are far better suited to 2D platforming games. And that's what this is. This is a 2D platforming game. And when I say that it's not designed with a D-pad in mind, I mean that I don't think that it has pixel perfect platforming. There's that alliteration that I love to do. It doesn't have that pixel perfect stuff. You can be a little sloppy with it, and that's why it's okay to use the joystick. That being said, the short throw on the joystick of the Joy-Cons makes it good to change directions really fast, so I prefer using the Joy-Cons to the Pro Controller on a game like this, which is a 2.5, I guess, dimension platformer. And it's really, really fun. The game has online leaderboards, so you can see how did you do on World 1-4 versus your friends. Are you at the top of the list? And here's the thing. I'm the only one of my friends that has this because the game's not out yet, and somehow I'm only number 2 on my friends list, and it's not showing anybody else. So maybe there's a bug there, or maybe that's just how terrible I am. I can't even win in a competition with just me. That being said, there's also multiplayer, so you can play multiplayer, and you can do things like conserve your explosions by being next to the other player when they explode. So I'm sure that there's puzzles in there that will benefit from some teamwork there, and I think it's really cool. Overall, I think that what I want to say about this game is it's fun. It's just pure fun. And I really enjoy the platforming. I feel like I just recently played a game on the PS4 called Runner 3, and you can check out my first impressions of Runner 3 right here on my YouTube channel as well. But I feel like I like Ms. Splosion Man more, and I feel like that's because there's a little more room for error in this game. And you can stop. With Runner 3, you're always going forward, but of course, that's how that game works. That's how the first 2 games worked, so it shouldn't be a huge surprise. But with Ms. Splosion Man, you have more control, and you can stop and think about, how am I going to accomplish this? And it also doesn't have the rhythm part to it, which I'm not opposed to rhythm in games. I didn't like the way it was working in Runner 3 for me, because it never felt like I was clicking with it. That could just be my fault, though. All that aside, Ms. Splosion Man is really fun, and you should check it out on the Nintendo Switch if you can. Very fun game. I recommend you check it out. If you haven't already checked out my podcast, speaking of checking things out, make sure you head on over to runjumpstomp.com. 3 days a week, I post a brand new episode of Nintendo Switchcraft. It's usually between 20 and 30 minutes of talk about Nintendo news. So make sure that you head on over there, runjumpstomp.com, and subscribe today. It's free.